Hi guys, welcome to Dundalk Bay Brewery. We've popped down today, we're doing a collaboration brew with them and we've the privilege of brewing a summer sour. We're going to do a little bit of a tour and tell you about the brewery and what you can expect from Dundalk Bay Brewery. Dundalk Bay Brewery, a family business. I've known Tony and Faye for quite a number of years now and we've had the privilege of supplying them with their ingredients and working quite closely with them. So recently they've been investing a lot and putting a lot of time and effort into making the brewery the success that it is today. They have a really exciting future ahead of them. You can see just over here that they have a new copper whiskey distillery that's been installed. Now it hasn't been commissioned yet, but it's good to see the progress being made. We also have just to the left here a small gin still, so they're making gin and vodka for the Irish market as well. And then a busy packaging line capable of doing bottles and cans. You can see the pasteurization tunnel, and then we move away over to the hot side, the production side. You can see here hot water, cold water tanks and the actual brew house itself. It's a 50 hectolitre brew house. You can see the malt mill here just at the platform. Malt mill's augured up into the grist case, and then the grist case obviously takes you down into the mash tun. So 4 vessels setup. So the mash tun here over into the loiter tun here, kettle here, and whirlpool here. Big brewery, big setup, all made by Spectac International, which Tony's company is based within the premises just next door. So Irish made brewing equipment. I think 90% of what they have here is manufactured on site. Obviously they buy in the packaging line and some other things, but Irish made, Irish beer, and a very bright future for Dundalk Bay lies ahead. So we're very privileged. This is Tony, the owner of Spectac and Dundalk Bay Brewery. I've just caught him walking by, but this is something that I'm very excited about. This is something very special. I'd like Tony to tell us just a little bit about what exactly we have here.
Well, in my own words, I would say this would be an Irish hop still distillery built by Irish people, and it most likely is the only one in Ireland that is actually fully Irish. So when we start, we're going to be doing Irish whiskey from Irish stills built by tradespeople in Ireland. So it's about a year and a half of a journey so far. We're almost getting to the end game. By the end of this year, we expect that we'll be doing our first distillation.
I was chatting to someone in the industry recently and they told me that they expect Irish whiskey to jump from 12 million cases per year to 20 million cases per year in the next 5 years. How exciting is that for you?
Well, that means that we're getting in at the right stage, starting small, but we are aiming for larger export markets. So I'm more the engineer type. Yeah. So I'll be stepping back. My job is almost done. Yeah. I built this thing, I brought it to this stage. The next generation, let them deal with it.
Let them deal with it.
Yeah.
A lot of attention to detail with the quality control. The desire here for the Healys is to ensure that there's a quality and consistent product going out time and time again. So they've got a very talented team now. They've just recruited Guilfoyle as head brewer. Let's not forget Tanya and the work that she does in managing and quality control in every batch of beer, ensuring the place is not only accredited but consistently achieving and exceeding expectations in terms of cleanliness and quality control. Guys, we're outside Dundalk Bay Brewery and we're talking to Dave Guilfoyle here, the head brewer. So for me, this is an exciting addition to the team. Dave's one of the most talented brewers in Ireland. He's well respected, capable of brewing great beer, and it's time that people knew that type of beer is being brewed here. Dave, is my opinion, because we arrived today. I was really surprised to see just how busy the brewery is and how much beer you're putting out. Obviously, first thing in the morning, we've had an IPA straight out of the tank and all good. But tell us a little bit about your experience since you came here.
We've really ramped up production, and that's not down to myself or any single person here. It's the sales guys which we've met. It's the support of the family that that run the business and the team in general that are here. Everybody's kind of seen where the brand can be and where it's going, and have really got in behind it.
There is a good team forming now, though. You're
There
seeing
is,
that,
yeah.
because I'm seeing the difference every time I come down to visit. You know, it seems that the whole thing's starting to gather some momentum. You know?
Yeah. Everybody feels a little bit invested in everything we're doing in here, and you know, the focus is definitely on quality and consistency, and everybody has a part to play in that, and the guys are really buying into that, and that's helping us drive the quality of the beer up, which is giving the sales guys then a better product and a better consistency to go to the retailers and go to independents and everybody else to get beer out there into people's hands.
From a brewing point of view, what's your favourite beer to brew?
Oh, I do love like what we're doing today with the sours, and you know, the kind of, you know, it's not a quick run through the process. It could be 24, 48 hours. You know, we could be here in 60 hours time, kind of still minding and kind of carrying it through the process. But I'm a big fan of my double IPAs and a big hoppy beer as well. So thankfully we've one of each of those coming down the line now.
And for you, if you're drinking beer at home, what's your take-home beer from Dundalk?
From the brewery here, it's the Maybach. I think it's a cracking beer year round. It's a nice big heavy malty beer in the winter, and nice and cold. And it's still a crisp kind of chewy lager that suits well in the summertime. So that's my year rounder.
Yeah. And in relation to brewing, how did you get into it? Was it a home brewing start, or did you just? I got introduced to a couple of people within the industry back in 2012, and I know there was only 7 or 8 breweries at the time, and I kind of emailed every one of them and said, I don't care, it's clean kegs, clean tanks, clean under tanks, or you know, the deliveries or whatever. And I was lucky enough that local brewery down in Banner and Offaly gave me an interview, and he asked me had any home brewing experience, and I told him yeah, but I never told him there were 2 failed batches. But just kind of got in, and Andy there showed me the ropes, and kind of been progressing since. Yeah. And one of the perks of being here has to be that Spec Tag's next door, you know. So
yeah, no, it's phenomenal. Like you've seen what we have inside, and for 90% of everything here to be built under the one roof. And you know, when myself and Tony were talking about expansion for this year, jokingly I said, like, I'll have 3 new tanks at the start of the year, and you know, come back after Christmas, and I was like, we'll actually have a look at what we need. He goes, no, they're half built, you know. And that facility here, and as well the expertise of the guys inside Spec Tag, you know, they have experience designing and building these both breweries and distilleries now that we're putting that in. You know, it's great to lean on.
And the beer we're brewing today is a fruit forward sour, Helveticus Bacteria Kettle sour process. We're fermenting it with a Verdant IPA yeast.
Yeah, so hopefully the Verdant IPA is going to throw a nice apricot flavour in into the mix with the mango and passion fruit. In the kettle we're going to add some Amarillo hops as well, which will throw a nice little orange character to that. So we should have a really nice kind of all-round fruit flavoured sour.
Just need the sunshine to come out now to enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, the sun is out, but it's not quite warm enough just yet. But hopefully in 3 to 4 weeks when we're ready with the beer.
We're going to get back inside now and get back to the brewing process, but just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce you to Dave and tell you a little bit about what he's going to do here at Dundalk. So this is a really big setup getting from my last here. Every time I come down here, it seems like as if they're adding new fermenters. So if you look here, we've got a club of 5 fermenters in a bright tank. There's another 5 fermenters in a bright tank here, and Dave was telling us earlier that they're actually getting new fermenters manufactured in next door, and they should be installed very soon. So like, this is a brewery that is capable of producing a serious amount of beer. So Dundalk Bay has, up until recent times, been contract brewing for other breweries, been contract brewing brands for export, and now they're really wanting to push and make more of their own beer in-house. So Dave's been experimenting with new recipes. There's seasonal specials coming out. We're very pleased to be able to be working with them today to create their next seasonal special, which is a sour beer. So what are we brewing today? We're brewing a sour beer using fruit puree. At this stage, to run very quickly through what's happened, We've mashed in using 2 Crisp Malt products, the German Pilsen Malt and the wheat. 50-50 grist bill of wheat and German Pilsen. We've added some rice hulls to help with the mash bed. So mashed in here, kept the mash on for an hour, transferred over to the loiter tun. Loiter's now taking place and going into the kettle, and because we're doing a sour beer, we're going to do a kettle sour using the Lallemand Helveticus freeze-dried bacteria. So part of that process means that what we're going to do is we're going to cool the temperature down in the kettle, so recirculating the wort through the chiller, taking it down to say 40 degrees. We're going to check the pH of the wort before we add the bacteria. We may need to pre-acidify that. Then what we're going to do is add the bacteria and allow it to do its magic in dropping the pH. Usually this process would take 24 hours. Then what we'll do is we'll bring the wort to a boil. When we bring the wort to the boil, we're wanting to kill the bacteria. Then we're going to add some hops. We're going to add some nice Amarillo hops to bring like a little bit of orange into the brew, and bring the brew to the boil and then cool and send to the fermenter. Now in the fermenter on this occasion, we're going to use the Verdant IPA yeast to bring that nice apricot flavour into the sour beer also. So we're really excited to see how this beer turns out. A lot of premium quality ingredients going in, and look forward to you guys trying it and letting us know what you think about the beer. The world's smallest microphone. Bring it out. Get Dave to tell us about the cooling. So what have we done, Dave? We've improvised a bit here.
Yeah, we've improvised a little bit. So we've taken some of the wort into the whirlpool and brought it back down to a lower temperature. We want our kettle temperature to be 38 to 42 degrees, and that's just optimal temperature for the bacteria that we're going to pitch. We're nearly there now.
Yeah. So at this stage, what we're going to do is get the sample of wort when it gets back into the kettle, check the pH, and then decide if we need to pre-acidify the wort with a little bit of lactic acid. So
yeah,
all good. We're going into the lab at the minute to check the pH of the wort that we've created. Once we've checked the pH of the wort, then we can make a decision as to whether or not it needs pre-acidified. So Dave, we're going for 4.5, aren't we?
4.5, yeah. Yeah, so here we've PCR tester for lactobacillus and wild yeast. So yeah, any of our beers which wouldn't be going through pasteurization, we can clear that they're free of any microbe activity.
Microbes, yeah.
We do yeast counts and yeast viability with the microscope. Then we have our pH meter. This little piece of equipment will do alcohol, bitterness, colour. We'll check the gravity of the beers that we're brewing. So today we're shooting for 1038, which I think once the temperature corrects will be pretty spot on.
So we're going to give the bacteria to Dave now. We're going to pitch this. We're going to allow the bacteria to do its magic overnight and lower the pH of the wort, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Yeah, so day 2 at Dundalk Brewery. We've been brewing a sour here. It started yesterday. What's happened is the Helveticus Bacteria has dropped the pH overnight. Dave's been in this morning. You've checked the pH, Dave, haven't you?
Yeah, we've hit our target pH, so next stage is to bring it to the boil, add in some Amarillo hops, and then we send it down with our Verdant IPA yeast.
Yeah. Probably good to mention the fruit that we're using as well. So you reckon that the passion fruit is going to naturally produce a slightly tart finish in it, as well as obviously the bacteria side of it doing its part?
Yeah, so we get a kind of an extra perceived sourness from the passion fruit, and we're going to use some mango puree then to help balance that.
So whenever we're talking about fruit, in this particular beer we're using passion fruit and mango, and we're going to add that in near the end of fermentation to get the residual sugars to ferment out. It's just going to be a really tasty, refreshing, sour summer beer.
It's going to smell lovely.
Probably could get away when brewing a sour beer like a 10-minute boil. It's just to actually do the boiling process, but given the batch size that we're doing here, 30-minute boil would do no harm. There's obviously pre-sterilised and CIP'd and cleaned, and now what Dave's doing is just getting the connections ready to connect the hose up to it, so it's going to come out of the whirlpool through the heat exchanger dropping the temperature down and then setting it into the fermenter just before we add the yeast to it. We're outside with Cillian. He's brand ambassador, head of sales, jack of all trades.
Yeah, something like that, Jonathan. Yeah, so I'm sales and brand ambassador here at Dundalk Brewery for both Brewmaster and Raven Rock Spirits. We've just launched seltzers as well. But yeah, basically in charge of all of the commercial sales side of things, distribution and getting the beer out there and our spirits to as many people as possible.
New beers being launched in the near future. You want to tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, exactly. So got a very exciting mango and passion fruit sour. Hopefully bring it to you guys in the next couple of weeks, obviously in collaboration with Geterbrewed. And then we're also actually canning a double IPA today. So look, we're really trying to get a push on these limited edition beers and, you know, bring them to the independents. That's the plan.
There's also a new head brewer joined recently.
Yeah, hopefully you get to meet him in the video as well, Dave Guilfoyle. A lot of people, he's well known, would say, around the Irish craft beer brewing community. Brewing it's been a long tradition in Dundalk for a lot of years, right back to the old Harp Brewery. McCardle's was all brewed in Dundalk. We're just continuing that tradition. I suppose as a company, like we started out as steel manufacturers here, our sister company Spectac, and basically like that's how we got our start. We've built a lot of the craft breweries and distilleries around Ireland. If they're made with Irish made steel over the last 10 or so years, we've probably had a hand in making them. So we've just taken those expertise you know, and brought them into our Dundalk Bay Brewery site, and hopefully we can transfer that onto to a great quality product.
So out of all the beers that you brew here, what's your personal favourite?
I think it's the Imperial Stout. Even in the summer, yeah, I just like one in the evening time, you know, a couple of days a week, just to relax, nearly like a glass of wine. But I'm definitely looking forward to trying this sour. Yeah. Something we haven't done before here, so it's very different for us, and yeah, really looking forward to try it.
Now outside with Faye, Managing Director at Dundalk Bay Brewery. So a number of years ago I took a phone call out of the blue from Faye saying we're getting into brewing and we need ingredients, and let's just say things have escalated at a high rate of growth for them here.
So, I mean, a lot has happened in the past year. Obviously, we had COVID to contend with, and that alone was a difficult period for us. Yeah. But I think we actually had to totally change our business plan around. We were predominantly in the on-trade, dealing with the pubs and stuff like that, and then we really had to just totally switch up. Yeah. We went into the off-trade then and got into pretty much nationwide distribution on the off-trade, which was brilliant. Yeah. And that really worked very well for us because it just basically meant that we got a lot more exposure. And you know, the Brewmaster brand has just gone so much better with just kind of people knowing more about us now because of the positioning that we're on the shelf, because we're a premium craft brand. So our sister company is Spectac International, and it's an engineering company. So basically we manufacture stainless steel tank for the brewing and distilling industry, and food and pharma and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah. But basically Spectac has obviously built the entire brewery here and all the tankage. So we've been in that really unique position that, you know, we were able to kind of expand within literally a click of the finger. With that in mind, I think it's just really it's great that we have the ability to be able to expand so quickly.
Maybe you guys haven't picked up on the story here, but Dundalk Bay and Spectac International is very much a family business. That would be fair to say. Yeah, it is. So like much like Geterbrewed's a family business, it's nice to work with fellow family business because there's a synergy there. And like your team that you're building at the minute really seems to be taking shape. I
mean, since 2015 we've established Dundalk Bay Brewery and Distillery. It's myself, my dad, and then all of our team behind us. And obviously without them we wouldn't, you know, have a business. So they're really important to us. The sales team are amazing. Our, you know, brewers and our, you know, packaging people and our, you know, head of quality and all of that is so important to us. Obviously quality is key for our brand, so that's kind of what the Brewmaster brand and all of the other brands that we do with Raven Rock Spirits is really driven from quality, and that's really important to us. Back in 2015 we decided to create something. The brewery was the first thing that we created, and Brewmaster was the first brand that we actually created from the business. And we did that with the view because, you know, Harp was one of the brands here in Dundalk and McCardle's.
Yeah.
And, you know, we wanted to revive that because it was, they, you know, ceased business here, and we wanted to revive the kind of passion in brewing.
Yeah.
So that's why we kind of created the Brewmaster brand.
Yeah.
And, you know, the slogan is brewing in our DNA, and that's kind of what it's all about, you know. So Brewmaster, it's really kind of praising the brewmaster kind of and his work and everything that he does behind the scenes to create the actual, you know, beer.
If you had one beer, your go-to beer, what would it be?
I think the Maybach would be my go-to beer, just because it's the really traditional German kind of style beer that I like.
Yeah.
I don't drink too much, but that would be probably my favourite because it's quite sessionable, quite mellow, and it's just refreshing and really nice to drink, you know. But again, I'd probably say all the beers are lovely because of course I'm going to say that.
So look, guys, thanks so much for joining us today. That's Faye, and if you want to get hold of their beers, it's available online as well as all the
available
local...
on our online shop, which is just launched, and then it's available nationwide as well.
Wow.